Welcome to another PLC riddle. This week we are working with strings. And first, this week there is a shout out because I got to admit, Cameron McCoy did the absolute best job of coming up with really the steps to figure this out. So we are mostly going to go through this one today. We're actually going to do a few others also. But if you didn't catch the PLC riddle, then here was the original riddle. Is I need to copy sent data coming across a network into a string. Only when I look at my string in Studio 5000, it is blank. My value changes often. Sometimes it is short, sometimes it is long. And I told you right away, I don't believe I had the best solution for this week, so kudos for the best. And then I was looking for the best solution in ladder logic, structured text, and function blocks, so choose your favorite. Now, the one bummer is no one came up with how to do this in function block diagrams, and that is by far my weakest language. And so I was really hoping there would be some challenge there to help us figure that out, but it didn't come up. But we're going to go through the others. And one other thing is, and I guess, part of these riddles, I've just got to learn how to reply better, or maybe I don't reply at all until the live stream. Maybe that's how we get through this. But a lot of you really question, well, why would Rockwell have it where the string length doesn't calculate? And y'all kept wanting to get on the hardware, but okay, let's talk about how we end up in this situation, because I think Jeremy Ross put this one really well. As Jeremy Ross said, interesting, I found out the hard way that the AB driver on Redline HMI completely ignores the length variable and uses the first null character to determine what data to display. I had a barcode scanner hooked to the HMI, retransmitting the PLC, had to copy the string and the length separately to get it to work. Now, the point of this is if we're doing the opposite, we're dealing with a PLC that is not dealing with the length, then we're going to end up in the exact situation that we have over here. And in fact, let's go ahead and look at what exactly is happening. Is if we go to our main routine, here's what I told y'all to simulate the string in yesterday's video, because several of you want to try it out. And here is that copy. So we're copying single integers, and we're copying them to mystring.data0 with a length of 82. My simulated string is TW controls, but notice in my string, there's nothing there. And the issue is if we right click my string and we monitor it and we open it up, then right here, whoops, didn't mean to open that up, but right here, our length is 0. Now, a lot of you said, well, Rockwell should be calculating this for us, but a comment just came in a few minutes ago that I really think nails down why you probably think that a lot of your software is doing it, but it's not actually doing it. So if we look here, this comment just came in. Is any idea why the PLC wouldn't calculate the string length on its own? For example, in C++, if you type mystring.length, it will tell you on what the terminating character is. From there, you have the string length capped to size just to prevent buffer overflows. But then check out its clarification. Edit. I know the dot length is its own function to calculate the string length, and the length isn't an attribute, but it makes sense that the PLC would do the same. And here is the thing right here. If the data is being manipulated from another source, how will it know it needs to calculate that length? And if we're talking about one string, then we could say, yeah, Rockwell should do it. But if we have 1,000 strings, are you telling me on every single PLC scan that we should be re-updating these lengths? And so, yeah, I got to figure out how to, I guess, respond to some people, because, okay, maybe you don't like the riddle. Maybe you don't like how Rockwell does it. And a lot of you are like, well, we should get hardware that works properly. Well, okay, I bought it. It's sitting on the table. I got money on the table now. We got to make it work. So we still need to go through the exercise and figure this out. All right, one other shout out, because we need to make a fix to my program before we go any further. And this is the third week in a row that Tony Leroy is going to get a shout out, because I made a mistake in this, and this is a bad habit I have. And I really got thinking about it this morning. I really don't know if there's ever a time that we should be doing it the way I do it. And also somebody to just ask this morning how the copy works. So we're going to hit that too. But I am using a COP instruction here. And anytime that you are doing anything with data that is coming over a network, you need to use a CPS instruction. And I'm going to walk through that first and explain why. So the copy instruction and the CPS instruction is going to take and copy a group of data. So it's going to start with simulate string data 0. If we right click it and monitor it, that's an array with a lot of elements in it. And it is going to put it in string incent, which is also an array with a lot of elements in it. Now, the length, whoops, get back to the right one. The length is how many of those elements it should copy. So this is like, in this case, 82 move instructions, moving from one place to the other. Now, here's where the issue comes in, is I'm going to right-click it and go to instruction help. And notice even for the instruction help, they group the CPS and the copy instruction together. And really, they generically almost say that they are the same. But if we go down just a little bit here, there's a really good diagram on this. During the execution of the COP and CPS instructions, the other controller actions may try to interrupt the copy instruction and change the source. And so it says here, if the source or destination is produce tag, consume tag, IO data, that another task can overwrite. Now here's the trick, is another task overwriting can also be a communications task, something coming in over the network. You should, in those cases, you should use the CPS instruction. Now, that's if we want to make sure the data doesn't change. I want to explain why this is important in a second. Now, if we don't need to do that, we want to use the copy instruction. And arguably, I don't know in a modern PLC if there's actually ever a time the copy instruction has an advantage over CPS. Somebody put it in the chat. Do you know of any? Because really, the task that attempts to interrupt the CPS instruction will be delayed until the instruction is done. So we are causing some delays, but I don't know. In a modern PLC, I'm not sure if those delays are even enough to matter. All right, let's talk about what can happen though. So since this data, well, I'm sorry, actually it's this data because we just put that in for the simulation. This was coming over a network. That means at any moment in the PLC scan, this could be writing to this data. And what that means is the copy instruction is still going to do things one at a time. It does not copy all 82 elements at one time. It copies element 0, then it does 1, then it does 2, and goes all the way through. Well, in this case, let's say it's done the first 3 elements and then it updates all the data over the network. These first 3 up here, there are 4, they're going to be the old data, and then the rest of them are going to be new. So you're going to have, we'll call it bad quality data, because it's probably not going to be groups, the same group. So Tony Leroy is exactly right. In this case, this should be a CPS instruction because we were copying that data. Now for our exercise, it doesn't matter. And all right, here are the solutions that we're actually going to go through today. Actually, here's our wrong data, just so we could see them all. Simulate string is going to my string, and it shows blank because there's no length in it. All right, then we have our, what I'm going to call is my final ladder, which we're going to go through after Cameron's. And then we have how we can do it in structured text. There's Cameron's, and here's Rockwell's, and or an example Rockwell has, and then we have the find string method, which I didn't give kudos to. I could not make the find string method work, and Christian Morley and Emery Aslankara both came up with how to make that work. And I really thought the find method would be the best way. I actually found it's not. All right, now if we stare at this and watch it, there it went. Now, you may have to back it up a second, but watch this Rockwell one, this Rockwell example. And you're going to see occasionally this disappears. And so there it goes. You saw the S disappear. We're going to talk through that because this is a sample out of the book, and I'll show you how to fix it. And no, it's not that Rockwell necessarily has a bad sample in their book. It's just for the application here. And where I see a lot of you use this, I see exactly this happen, is the data is occasionally getting truncated. All right. There are two other errors because there is an error in Cameron's program. And as we talk through it and we simplify his, I'll show you how we can fix it. But let's talk about two other errors. If I take in a blank out TW controls, a lot of your solutions couldn't handle this. So I'm just going to click off. And notice here, the Rockwell example, it stays as TW controls. And the rest of them did blank out. Now the other one, if we just put this back on TW controls, or hey, how about this? Why don't you go ahead and subscribe? Make me happy today. We'll put subscribe in there. And now what I want to do is I'm going to change this so that I have 82 characters, which is the maximum number of characters. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. And actually I'm going to copy that. And then I'm just going to paste it 8 times. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 1, 2. Actually, if I add one more digit, you'll see it's got it red there. So this is the maximum number of digits. And if I put that in, then notice right here, there's where Cameron starts to have an issue with the subscribe point. And so we're going to talk through how to fix that and how to fix this in here. But we're going to slowly walk through Cameron's just so we can talk about how we could do this. Because really, I fell flat on my face doing this. I'll admit it. And I did not, I see when I looked at Cameron's, I immediately knew what I had done wrong. So yeah, we're going to actually create this whole thing. And I'm just going to right click my main program, add new routine. And I'm going to call this the FSC because that's the way we're doing this one is the file search and compare. And then I'm going to go to my main routine. We're going to go down here and we're going to add a JSR. So bring a new rundown. I'm going to go to my program control tab. And we'll grab a JSR. And this will be for FSC. I'm not going to worry about any input or return parameters. So I'm just going to remove those parameters. And finalize that. So that just gets us running in here. Whoops. I got a blank line in here. Can't do that. Delete that. And now we can finalize it. So that's going to get us going here. All right. So and I'll show you how exactly I went wrong with this. So we'll act like this is a completely blank program. Let me just close some of these out. And we're going to change our string just like we had just created it. We're going to have a blank string in here. And then so I went and I brought down an FSC instruction, which is under the file miscellaneous. And for control, I'm going to call this my FSC control 1. And we'll right click it and new. And then for my length, I'm going to put 82 in, just like Cameron did over here. So 82. And then the mode, you have 2 modes, and they're worth talking about, is you have all and incremental. All means it's going to come to this instruction, and it's going to run through all 82 of these at one time. If we do incremental, it'll run through it, pass on one time, next scan it'll do it again. So it'll take 82 scans to get through this. So I'm going to put all on that. And then for the expression, he has it right. String in sent, and then the FSC position equals 0. That's what we're going to be looking for. And so I'm going to go over here. Oops, go back over here. And I am going to put in string. Actually, here, sometimes it's easier. You got a little tag thing here. So we're just going to go, oops. I hit the create tag by accident. We're going to get the string in sent. And I'm just going to grab element 0. And then the index, for the index, because this doesn't have to be an actual number, we're going to put FSC control 1.pos. And that is FSC, that is this right here, and we're getting this position right here. And we want it to be equal to 0. And this is exactly what I did. And then I finalized this, which let's make sure we all understand here. This didn't work. So I am walking, but really, here's how, I ended up, in fact, I will probably later show my convoluted solution in another video because I found some really cool ways to sort and gather groups of data, but that's not what we needed to do here. But I want to show how I ended up thinking that this didn't work the way it should. And so now it looks like it's working. I'm going to go over here to my main routine. In fact, I am going to just copy this because it's just an equals. That way we'll have it right on the same screen. I'm going to bring a new rung down and I'm going to paste that in. And then I'm going to bring an NOP instruction down, and that is on the Program Control tab. We have a no operation. And all I'm doing is making it where you can see the string right here. Actually, I should have grabbed the simulated string. Yeah, I grabbed the wrong one. You need that. Well, that's all right. For what we're doing, that'll work fine. We're going, oh no, that's right. We grabbed the simulated string, yeah. So now I can click right here and I'm just going to put TW controls in. And we got nothing on the position. Now with many things, forgot the function. Yep, Richard, you're getting there. I did, Richard. Richard's all over it. I forgot to put the clear function done and the bits to reset. And so, but here's what I did because, and I should have had a video open. I should have had a program open, but a lot of times this is simply, we need to break the enable. And now again, I'm showing you how I screwed up and got way off track. Hopefully it helps you not do it. So I go look for a 0 down and we're going to grab the FSC control 1 and I put .en in. And I thought that this would break it and make it work. And yeah, it did not. And so, yes, Richard, now we're to where I needed to go to the help file. And I did not go to the help file. I learned about sorting data. I learned lots of cool things, but I did not learn what we needed to do at that moment. So if we right click and we go to instruction help, and notice this instruction is not available in structured text or function block. And I have to admit, I was totally surprised on this. I was with, actually, I was with everybody 100% of the way. A lot of you were like, well, I'm not sure how to do it, but this has structured text written all over it. I was surprised to find out that this one was easiest to do in ladder logic. And when it comes to data, that almost never happens. So that ended up surprising me. My final solution, I think, unless somebody pokes a hole in it, I was really surprised at it. But if we go down here, then we have this FD bit right here. And the found bit indicates the FSC instruction detected a true comparison. And if you go on down through there, in order for us to make this find again, we need to reset again. Now, just so we can get that position working, actually, no, because that's not the way that I think most people do it. We think we need that found bit now. And so we want to grab this data before we reset. In fact, yeah, let me go ahead and do it. So you're right, Richard, we need a reset instruction. And I'm kind of going along with what Cameron had here. So this is this rung down here. I feel this is probably similar to how he thought through it. And we are going to go, actually, I'm just going to go to the timer counter tab because it is there. We're going to bring a reset down. And then FSC control 1, we're going to reset. All right. And now this thing is definitely clearing. Oh, I got to take my enable back out now because this shouldn't have been there. And now it looks like it's 0. It looks like it's not working. And here's where all of a sudden, when I read Cameron's, I'm like, Cameron just laid out the perfect video. Because at first I was like, well, why did he put this here? But then I got thinking about it. If you walk through this and you're staring at this, you're going to swear that this is not changing. But it is in fact changing, and that's what Cameron was going to is showing right here. Is if the FSC position equals, I'm sorry, and actually that's wrong. That should be a not equals. Well, it doesn't matter, but I am going to make it a not equal so it'll light up. But if it's not, I'm going to say not equal to 0, then we're going to turn on just a bit. And we're going to put that right here in the middle. And so we are going to go to our compare tab, and we are going to bring down a not equal to, and we are going to be looking at the FSC control 1 dot POS. And we're going to look for it not to be equal to 0. And then we're going to just put arbitrary output energize here for my FSC does not equal 0. And we're going to right click it, new, create. And now if I finalize that, notice it lights up. And here's the interesting thing. That thing was a solid 0 before, but if we stare at it long enough, watch it not do it now that I tell you to stare right here. Well, I did see the POS turn to a 3 for a split second. But now we know for a fact that whether we believe it or not, this value is changing to something. All right, so now we're ready to grab the data, and that's what he is doing right here with the function done. So when, I'm sorry, it's not function done, it is found bit. So when it's found, he's going to copy his string data, and he's going to put his length in. So we're going to go over here, and no, he put it above it. I'm going to put it exactly like I had it. So we put it there. Going to go look for one FSC control.1.fd. And then we are going to put a copy in. Oops. What did I click on? And yes, I need to get, actually, in this, has anybody figured out in the chat, is there ever actually a time that, is there any advantage to a copy instruction? Am I just in an old bad habit? I really don't even know. But okay, so now we are going to copy the string in sent, and we're going to grab element 0, and we're going to put it in FSC string. And then I need to right click it and new, and this is going to be a string tag, and we'll create. And then I'm going to go grab data 0. And we want a length of 82. And then we will grab a move instruction. And we are going to move our FSC, where's my mouse? Control. And we're going to grab the dot POS. And we're going to put it into the FSC string dot length. And so now we see clearly, notice even down here, it's kind of bouncing. Thank you, Mary Bruce. I did not, and here's where I can't see exactly the interface that y'all are looking at, but yeah. Let's see, Richard, were you able to see the solution I added to YouTube comments? I had a link. Yes, I did. I did grab that one. It's in my, it is in my folder here, and I may pop it up here if we get time at the end here. All right, but okay. So this gets Richard's almost, not Richard. Richard's in the comments. Cameron's, this is Cameron's program. This gets Cameron almost working. And so now, just so we can see it, I'm going to add right up here another equals. So I'm going to edit a wrong. We're going to right click this and copy. And we're just going to right click it and paste. And we're going to grab, I'll just type it, FSC string. And we're going to put that right there. And now we clearly see simulate strings, TW controls, finals, TW controls. I can blank out TW controls. It blanks out perfectly. I can put subscribe in here because hopefully by now y'all have subscribed, because a lot of y'all complained that this is normally on Thursday and today is a Tuesday. And yeah, hey, guess what? You never know what's going on. Actually, I'm excited. I'm getting training tomorrow through Friday on Industry 4.0 and some things on that hopefully I can bring back. But yeah, so hit the subscribe button. That way you actually know when this happens. But all right, now here's the issue with Cameron's is the full string. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, and then I highlight that and I'm going to right click it and I'm going to copy it. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 1, 2, that's 82 letters. See, I can't put any more. They go red. Right now is FSC control. We know is 11. I'm sorry, is 9 right here. And when I click off of it here, notice his stays 9 and his stays says subscribe, and he gets no function done. Found, no found bit. So the found bit is not going to happen because right now it's looking for the string and sent to be equal to 0. And if we right click it and we monitor string and sent and we hit the arrow by it, if I can aim and hit the arrow, why are those arrows so small on this anyway? But okay, if we scroll all the way down through all these, they are not going to be 0. And so that was the one issue of his. Now, using that issue, we can simplify what Cameron has here. So I'm going to start just kind of paring this down now. Because first of all, we don't need this. This was just to show us a few things. I'm going to hit the delete button on that one and clear it out. And that gets him to here. Now, the found bit, we don't actually need. And because either the bit is going to be found or it's going to run all the way through and not be found. And at that point, it will be 82. And so we can take this out. So we edit this wrong. We hit the delete button. And notice right now we have big long number, but still Cameron's stuck at subscribe. And that fixes his long value. Now, at this point, we can do a lot of neat little consolidation here based on that these rungs are, if they're true coming in, they're going to be true coming out. And we can simply start a rung edit here. And we can grab his copy and his move. And we can put them right behind here. And then we can grab his reset and we can put it right behind here. So this single rung set up this way, it's going to do exactly the same thing as the 3 rungs he had. So now I'm just going to highlight this one and hit the delete button. I'm going to highlight this one and hit the delete button. And then I'm going to finalize that. And so now we have one rung here. You like that, Cameron? Well, and here's where, but I loved your example because oops. Oh, I hate it when I drag that out. Oh, yeah. Now it's on, guys. I got to aim. Oh, man. Yeah, we may just have to. Hey, is there some while we're here, does somebody know how to magically just reset your ladder bar? There we go. Got it. But really, I love the way you did it because this taught the FSC. We ran through the problem I had. We learned what the found can do because sometimes we are looking for something specific. In this case, we were looking for the end of it. But yeah, that gets us to there. Now, coincidentally, here is mine right here. So I did the FSC, copy, move, reset. And actually, here's where I was really trudging through trying to make my find work. My find did not work, and I'll explain why in just a little bit. But, whoops, I'll get back to the FSC. Yeah. So overall, I really feel this was the easiest way to do this. Now, a lot of you put in Rockwell's sample. And here's where, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate you going through the help file and finding this, as nobody actually tested this that did it. And I know that because I see this used out in the field and it's really clear nobody actually tested it, because that is what's causing our little blanking out thing. You see there on this one, you see, if you watch this long enough, and why is it when you actually start staring at something, it doesn't change? In fact, let me highlight it. That way you know what you're supposed to be staring at. Well, there it goes. See how it's changing occasionally? And this has to do with the program scan. Now, this is because we're using this you know, in a certain way, and that was not what this example is written on. But here is roughly Rockwell's example. So in this case, in structured text, they are taking they're setting the element number to 0. Now, what I did like about theirs, and that's why I went ahead and left it in, and here's why I can always tell when someone is use their example, is next thing they have a size instruction, which, you know, I have not found a lot of uses for the size instruction. But what this is going to do is it's going to find how many elements are in this array. So I can mouse over it. I see that it's a value of 82. And actually, we mouse over the size. It says source, dim to vary, and size. So this is a single dimensional array, which means we're using element 0, or array, I guess row 0, whatever you call that. And then we have array size, and it's going to come up to 82. So it's figuring that out. Kind of a neat instruction. Honestly, I've never found a use for it. So if you have, throw that down in the comments. But then we have a do while. And really, this is kind of what I thought was going to be the fastest way. My solution was a little different than this one. But so we have while, and we have string incent element is not equal to. So this right here, if you have a Pac-Man to the left and a Pac-Man to the right put together, then that is going to be a not equal to. So while it's not equal to 0, do, and so we have RA string data element number equals sent string data element number. So we're starting out at 0, and so first this is going to move, string in sent element 0 to RA string data element 0. And then RA element number, which coincidentally, that was what we started out putting at 0. It's going to equal that element number plus 1. And then it's moving the length, or the RA element number, to the string length. And then we have an if, and if the RA element number equals that length, which means we've gone through the total thing, we're going to exit. And what's happening here is our PLC scan is not synchronous with our computer scan. So sometimes our computer is scanning while it's in the middle of doing this whole loop thing. And in fact, we hit the eyeglasses over here. And well, there you go. So you see the length, you see how these numbers are bouncing around occasionally? And although most of the time it is stay on that question mark, which the question mark we'll talk about in mine. But so whenever you're seeing this stuff change, that's what you're actually seeing happening over here. Now, here's why I say, before you go knocking the Rockwell sample code, it's a matter of what you're doing with it. If we were going down here on line 11 and actually doing something with this, it would always be the exact same number, just like in Cameron's, how his was always the exact same number. But in this case, the same as your HMI will do, this is going to read at any, and I'm just going to call it a random time. I know it's not a random time, but it's not a predictable time that it's updating this value. And I see it on your HMIs a lot of times. It's like that. You just saw it go to 1, 2, 3, 4. All of a sudden, you'll see one drop out and come back. And so that's what's causing that. Now, ultimately, here's the structured text that I came up with. And as I did the same thing that Rockwell did, I started out by putting the element at 0. Now, just because the programming language I originally learned to do this stuff in, they always used I don't know. It's kind of like the COP instruction. It's just in my head. There's nothing special about this I. But yeah, so I used the for and do. And Rockwell's arguably is a little bit more efficient than mine. But from 0 to 81 do, and then we have this right here. So if the element or the string incent element is not equal to 0, then the length equals the length plus 1. So really, at this point, I'm in the same boat as Rockwell's in. But all I did was focus on the length in here. And I don't know, somebody could probably write it out and figure out which way is more efficient. I really don't know. But then once we're done with the for, then I do a CPS. And yes, Tony Leroy had got it on me by now, so I knew to use the CPS instruction instead of, although, yes, and it would matter here. This has to be a CPS instruction. And so I copy the data the same as we've been doing. And then I put the TW string length to whatever I found in here. And so if we monitor this, we're mainly going to focus on this one right here, is we're going to see the string length here change. See, it just went to 55 and came back. You're never going to see this number change. And that's all that needs changed in Rockwell's. If we were going to, use this on an HMI or something, that will get that one going. See, Richard, for ST, I would probably make a new tag, copy it. And, oh gosh, sorry, Richard. I wish YouTube would get rid of this emoji. I can give you a heart right now. There you go. There's a heart for you, but I can't read the end of your chat until somebody else throws something into the chat. I don't know why why YouTube's done that. They made it really easy for us to. There we go. Thank you. For ST, I would probably make a new tag, copy it over, and operate on that. And you're right. So that's all we've done here is so now by just copying it outside of it, that's made it much more, stable. Now we've added some memory to it. But yeah. Okay. Now the next one, and really this was the one I really felt initially was going to be the one, is this find right here. Because if we right click the find and we go to instruction help, it says the find instruction locates the starting position of a specified string within another string. My gosh, that doesn't sound like exactly what we're trying to do. Well, guess what, folks? Yeah, this is finally what I found out you had to do, and I do have to get kudos to Christian Mori and Emery Eslankara. Both of them had something along this, but yeah, this one right here really stumped me. And let's go through it from the beginning and talk about why it doesn't work, and honestly, why it doesn't make a good one. We're going to right click, add new routine, and I already have a find one, so we're just going to call this find 2. And then we'll go ahead and put a JSR in to get us to that one. Just go down here and type JSR. I know I said that I would quit doing this, but yeah, you guys saw me a second ago bring a JSR in. You know how you guys can go back and figure out how to do that. Okay, so if we go into find 2, I really felt the find instruction was the way to do it, and I am going to have to go find this one because honestly, I don't even know where it is. Let's see. We'll start around it because I know I need that. I think it's on the file. Nope, not under there. Anybody know where it's at? Otherwise, I'm getting impatient in a second. Just type it like I normally do. HMI special? Oh, there you go. I don't even know where it is. We're not getting far. Yeah, I'm just going to type it in a second. Well, the Cameron, the size instruction. Somebody put something in there. I can't read the end of yours either, Cameron. Can somebody tell me where the find? All right, somebody can tell me later where the find is. Here's where you can just highlight and type find here, and there you go. We've got it. All right, now the source here. Let's see, Cameron. The size instruction is helpful when you have a UDT such as a custom string. Well, I guess the part that I guess I get stumped on that is, can we just mouse over the UDT? Well, I guess if it's honestly, if it's a really complicated UDT, you're right. I don't want to try to figure out the length. Good point. That'll make a good video. I've got I'm doing a user defined video soon on or UDTs and add-on instructions. So yeah, I ought to try to use that in there somewhere. But okay, so the source on this, my feeling was that the source should be my string. That is the one that we're trying to figure out. And so I put in here my string. And then just going over to what they had or oops, I got to do a brain reset here. Close all but this. There we go. We're bringing the find back up. And then the symbol right here for a blank place is $00. And so I was going to put here, find this generator. And so we're going to right click it, new, and it does have to be a string. And I felt you should just put $00 for a blank space. And then our start is a 1. because mainly, actually, no, let me leave that because I really wanted the start to be a 0. I really felt it should be. And then my result is find, let's see, blank position. And we right click it and new. So here's where I started at. Where I really struggled is I really felt that should work. Then I right clicked and I went to instruction help on the find, and the start, the position in the start, or the position in the source to start the search, and enter a number between 1 and the data size, which I honestly still can't fully understand because I want position 0, but I had to put a 1 here. And I really felt this should work. And so I went and put that in, and I got nothing. And so I would not have had the patience to find this, because in the end, I still don't think it was a great way, even though it does seem like what you would use to find something in a string. But here's what Maury was, let's see, whose is this? No, this is, Maury, Christian Maury. This is what he came up with, really. Is so first he did copy into another place, but then this is the one that I missed, is we had to put a length on this right here. And so I'm just going to go ahead and do a copy. That way we can have it there. And yes, Tony, you're right. I should be using a CPS instruction, so I am going to try. In fact, I don't think anybody's said any reason yet why I wouldn't ever use a CPS. But all right, we're going to copy. Now here's something that Cameron, I believe it was yours. Was it yours? Now I got to think. I don't have a copy of yours. What version of Studio were you using? Because I believe you were the one that actually used a move instruction on a string. And I think I read in version maybe 35 or 36 you could. But in my case, I'm going to copy this to string to find. And we're going to right click. Cameron, you're using version 35. Where is your program? Where's your original? Because I could not do it the way that you did it exactly. Was it your program? Yeah. No, yeah. No, it was not yours. It must have been Maury's. Or I didn't save his. But apparently now you can, which kind of blew my mind. Apparently you can use a move instruction for strings. But in our case, we're going to use a copy instruction, string define. So we're going to right click it in new. And oops, almost messed up there. We want to copy string. And we're just going to make our length 1. So that kind of gets us where Christian got to. And then he put a move instruction in. And this is the one that got me. Even when I looked at what he did, I was like, why on earth is he doing this? But he went to string define dot len. Oops, that's supposed to be the destination. And he stuck a 82 here. And I think that's enough to get us going on this. I can't remember now. Let's just try this. Oops. Well, probably is enough to get us going, but I probably need the last little bit. Because yes, okay. Now here's where I got tripped. I just started totally tripping on what exactly was even going on at this point. Okay. Now we're not using my string now though, because my string. Oh no, this is it. Oh, string define. I need to change this to string define now. So this becomes string define. And I believe it probably is finding it, although we're just not seeing it. So here's where, when I saw this subtract, I was like, what's he doing? But so now we're going to go to the compute math, because he put in a subtract, and he subtracted 1 and put it in string define length. So we will put a subtract in. Well, start wrong at it. And then, I'm sorry, I'm reading only in the 5380 or 5580. Oh, okay. So yeah, because somebody had a move string to string, and I was like, I don't even I'd never seen that before. I've always had to do the copy. Okay, but so then he did a subtract, and he subtracted his find blank position, and there is an error in his too, and I didn't point that out. I need to change my simulated value. That's why it's not working. Let me just go back, and we'll go back to subscribe. And yeah, now he's got right. Because I was like, yeah, okay, so now he has a length of 10 in here. In fact, let me take this back out so we can talk through. Because really, when I saw what he sent me, I was just like, what is he even? I don't even know what he's doing. But his find blank position is 10. Now, if we go over here and we look at right click, monitor, now we could count it up too, but there's 9 characters in the word subscribe. And so there's where I really got like totally lost about why I couldn't start at 0 here. But somehow having to start at 1 here jives with Christian subtracting here at the end. So now I'll take my find blank position and I am going to subtract 1 from it. And then in his case, he just I think he just put it right back to the length. But we do have the well, no, let's walk through it just like because I think what he actually did now is he put that there. And this is gonna wiggle a little bit at this point. If we look at actually it looks pretty solid. Yeah, well, we know there's a little bit of transition because occasionally, in fact, let's just trend this. Let me see if I can trend it and see it changing. Pretty sure it's changing. Well, why's my trim? Oh, there it goes. I don't know why my trim wasn't working for a second. So yeah, we see our value is dancing around. So while it's not as obvious, we're still going to have issues here with it occasionally changing midstream. And so the same as the structured text, to fix that, all we're going to do is go to our file miscellaneous. And yes, I'm gonna do my best to start using the CPS instruction because I don't even know. I have no idea why I use the copy instruction. But so now we're going to copy string define to running out of idea string found 1, and we right click it, new, and whoops, string. And then just to make actually, let's just bring it up with all of them because we'll test all of them. So there's our string found now. So we're going to go back to our main routine. And we're just going to add that right here. So we're going to grab another equals. And we'll call this string found. All right, so Cameron, we know, has an issue at a length of 82. And then we have a little bit of changing right here on this one. But so mainly if we go blank now, that's blank. Oh, I put, whoops. I must have, there we go. Now we're blank. So they are, okay. So we know, yeah, we know this string right here had an issue. That's worth looking at. Why is that not working? So we get element number 0 and size. We figure out it's the size of 82. So while element 0 is not equal to 0, do this. But immediately. So since we're blank, the first element is 0. And yeah, that does it. Now, honestly, I didn't say whose code this was. I can't remember whose code this is, but because next thing you know, y'all going to be saying that the code's wrong in the book. The code's not wrong in the book. But I asked him how he got it, and this is when he told me this. And in this case, where's it at? They were looking Well, I thought they were looking for a specific character, but it's not jumping out at me. See, we've gone size, then we're going to repeat string data. No, okay, well, in this case, okay, in this case, they weren't looking for a termination character. No, but okay, I mean, again, this was code that was, provided and then was modified. Okay, just, but yes, there's nothing wrong with the code. But yeah, the issue with this, the way he did it was if this is not equal to 0, it's skipping over everything. And so if I put anything back in this one, let's just put, and yeah, so it works fine except for we have a little bit of dance. But anytime this goes to exactly a blank string, it's just going to stay where it is because that one was not equal to 0. Okay, but the others seem to work fine. And then finally we had the length of 82. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. And we copy you 8 times. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we need 1, 2. Now that's so we get the maximum number. And when I click off of it, all right, and that was the one where Cameron had the issue, but that's pretty good. And, I gotta say this was a fun exercise for me because the one. Let's go ahead and go through it because Cameron even I think, yeah, Cameron tried this one, and I was like, man, I feel like I was, because a lot of these exercises, I'll do, and I'm going to start sharing these as riddles. A lot of times, when you guys ask a question, I'll look at different ways to do it. Not necessarily the easiest way, because now we could even argue. I mean, is this structured text the easiest way, or is this FSC the easiest way? I don't, a lot of that is a matter of opinion. But the one that really bugged me, and again, it's my weakest language, and I think that's why it bugs me, is I could not figure out any way to do this in function block diagrams. We're going to do FBD, and then we're going to go to our main routine, and just going to put a J in start of that FDB. And I mean, I knew it would be rough, but I still wanted to be able to do something in here and figure this out. Is so I could not get past the beginning of this though. So what I really wanted to do first was I guess a not equal to. So if we go to the compare tab, we're looking for that not equal to 0. So I bring an NEQ down, and then we bring a couple of these down. And I know my source B is 0. And mostly I was really basing this off of the structured text here is I was beginning with this not being equal to 0. But here's right away I got stumped. If I go to my string, yeah, dot data, it takes this in perfectly. That part works fine. But okay, now I'm just going to right click controller tags, new tag. And really for an index, you can put anything. So I'm going to put index FSC. Oh, not FSC. FBD. One of these acronyms. I really felt that I should be able to go right here and put index FBD. And I got an error on it. And at first, it's not, when you're typing, it's not uncommon to have an error, but I couldn't even understand the error box here is, it says language element cannot refer to a valid data type. No, I'm all for, usually it's because usually it's a typo or I get the wrong data type. If I was to say, I don't think I can do a bool there, but index bool, and we make that a bool, and I change this to that. I mean, I would get this because I'm pretty sure now it'll say invalid data type. I mean, now, okay, now the NEQ's also highlighting at me, but I hit the verify button. And okay, now we're into probably more of what I'm used to, but I don't know. I got stuck right there, and that's as far as I could get on that. Um, well, I have to admit this chat has been a lot quieter than normal. Is there any questions? Because otherwise, we probably will cut out. And it doesn't have to be a question about this. Um, I did, kind of fun. Now this right here. While I'm here, I'm going to do some videos on this. This may be the most amazing encoder I've ever seen. Is there's literally actually no actual coupling to it. You just got to get really close to it, and as you turn it, it'll change position. So actually, I'm working on videos on that. I have an IO link version of it, and I have this one right here. We're actually connecting to an 850. That way we can play with it. But yeah, that's all I have for today. And so if there's no other questions, I will actually next week is class week. No, what week is it? It's the 16th, isn't it? So no, I don't have class next week. I have class the week after. But I may put a riddle out next week. But anyway, that's all I have for today. Thanks for